Hello everyone. Nothing that you do compulsively will satisfy OCD's needs. When you do compulsions, all you're doing is feeding the cycle. You're letting and helping OCD thrive. If you try and work something out, you are playing into OCD's hands. OCD is rubbing its hands at the thought of you trying to work things out because it keeps pulling you along. It's towing you along until you feel like you're finally going to work it out, and then you get nowhere. And then you go round and round and round again. So always remember that OCD never delivers on its promises, ever. It hasn't done so far, and it won't do now. Now, let's say you're watching this video and you've been stuck with OCD for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? Now, tell me if you've ever been able to satisfy OCD. Has OCD ever been pleased and just, okay, I'm content with what you've worked out there? No chance, because the more you try and work something out, or the more you do compulsions, the more reassurance you seek, the more you confess, the more you avoid, the more trying to get any kind of certainty, the more control, whatever it may be, whatever compulsion you tend to do, in whatever fear that you have, and all the compulsions that you're doing, it still won't satisfy OCD. I'll give you an example. So let's say you are convinced that you've harmed somebody, okay? And then you message that person. You message them and say, right, did I harm you on June the 6th, 2009? Did I harm you? Right? And they go, no. What do you mean? So you think, oh, right, okay. They've told me no. So I'm fine. I'm at relief. I can go and live my life now. I'm in peace. This is where OCD is not satisfied, because now it's doubted their reply. And all of a sudden it's, but did you text the right person? What as if they were drunk and couldn't actually remember? What as if they're so traumatized by your actions, therefore they've had to erase their memory? So then what do you tend to do? You then do another compulsion and you text them again. Hi there, I just want to make sure that on June the 6th, 2009, that this didn't happen, and then maybe you explain more, maybe you over-explain, maybe you start confessing, maybe you go, yeah, but are you sure? Because when I was with you at the bar, are you sure I didn't budge you? Are you sure I didn't sort of chuck you over? Did you feel any pain? Did you feel it? And then you open up the can of worms, right? Because all you're doing is trying to satisfy OCD's needs. You won't be able to. OCD will be promising you that if you just get relief, and if you get an answer, and if you solve this one, then you can get on with your life and be at complete peace and move on. So then you chase that certainty, you chase and chase and chase and chase, and you keep going until you get nowhere, and you go round and round and round, doing more and more compulsions, and then you feel absolutely exhausted, right? And even if you've got some element of certainty, even if this person said to you, no, you definitely didn't harm me, I don't know what you're talking about, go away, right? You're then going to go, oh my God, why are they saying go away? Do they not like me? But anyway, if you got some kind of certainty, all that OCD is going to do is find something else. It's going to nestle just out of reach on something else. It's going to move the boundaries and move the goalposts. And then it'll find that real event, that false memory, harm OCD, POCD, whatever it may be, all the different taboo themes and so on, any theme, but anything that sort of latches to the guilt and the shame, something I know all too well because that's what I suffered with severely and chronically. It's then going to promise you once again, if you get relief, if you work this one out, and if you trust me, work this one out. This one's different. This one's real. This one's exception. Please just work this one out, and then you can be at peace. Okay, right. I better work this one out. So down the rabbit hole you go again with the mental analysing, the constant engaging with the rumination, trying to solve, trying to get the answer, trying to figure this one out because this one's the exception, this one's different, and so on, right? When I was desperate to satisfy OCD's needs, I was like a man possessed. What do you mean by that? Well, I was so desperate for certainty, the confession was out of out of the scale, out of this world. It was, it was like word vomiting, we tend to call it, where I couldn't stop. I couldn't. It was like a hardened drug addict, where I was set. I was set on getting certainty, and nothing was going to stop me. I was desperate for it, like an addict would be desperate for that hit. That addict would be desperate for that drug, whatever it may be, and I was like that. Okay. Many times when I was struggling with confession, my partner, thankfully so, said, I'm not playing the game. You're going to have to learn to sit with it. Maybe she would walk off and that's what I need, because I was so desperate to get relief. I was desperate to do anything to satisfy OCD's needs. You won't be able to. It's a trap. It's an illusion. Don't fall for OCD's traps. I see it a lot on coaching calls. Sometimes I have to just jump in and just change the subject or ask a question or completely move on. So I might suddenly say, so tell me about some of your compulsions then. Tell me how your life structure's looking. How's the books going? Tell me about that exposure we set last week. How's that going? Because always remember that when you are confessing, when you are seeking reassurance, when you are desperate to satisfy OCD's needs, you'll do anything. You'll go to the extremity. You'll cross all rivers. You'll do anything. You'll go to the in-depth. It's like your life depends on it, and it will feel life and death, because you are saying, and it will feel like if you don't get this certainty, if you don't seek whatever you're seeking out, then the risk factor is so high, you don't think your life would ever be the same again. So it does feel life and death. It feels like your life is swinging in the balance in that moment. It feels like your life will never ever be the same again, right? Think about all the things that OCD has latched to for you, right? You are so desperate for control, for certainty, to work it out, to know that the worst fear won't happen or hasn't happened, okay? Whether that's a real event, false memory, whether it's a fear in the future, something going wrong, okay? Many fears, OCD can latch to anything. There's no rules to OCD. It can latch to absolutely anything, and anything that you can be scared of, anything that you fear, OCD is targeting, because it's looking at your beliefs. Right, that person right there is saying they must not get ill. Okay, let's scan for any symptom. So off you go down the Googling rabbit hole to get certainty, to get some kind of answer, to solve something, and then you get relief. Maybe you read that, oh, okay, it's nothing bad, there's nothing wrong with me. What's OCD going to do? It's going to move the goalpost and say, yeah, but what is if this symptom of yours, Sam, has actually been going on for longer? Therefore, there's more chance of you dying. There's more chance of you getting cancer. There's more chance of some serious illness. So off you go again, trying to satisfy OCD. Down the rabbit hole you go. Or what is if I had the symptom for 6 months? What does this mean? What is if I didn't explain the symptom correctly? What is if I typed it in wrong? What if I can't find the words to explain the symptom? What if no one's actually understands me and I'm the only one trying to explain this and Google doesn't understand me? What if the doctor who I spoke to was having an off day and was actually distracted by something else? And what if the machine that they tested me on was broken and the batteries were low? And what if it was actually the bloke before? What if it was his results, not mine? I've been there, right? You're on the desperate search for certainty, right? And you keep going to search OCD's needs, and you will spend a lifetime trying to satisfy OCD's demands. Give it up. Pack it in. You won't be able to. It's a trap. It's a dead end. It really, really is. So, resisting compulsions like our life depends on it. We have no other choice. We really, really don't, right? Because it's either a lifetime of compulsions or you start cutting these compulsions. Yes, the anxiety will increase, all the symptoms will increase, but then you are giving yourself the best chance at recovery. You're going to have to be willing to trade the short-term comfort seeking that you may get from working something out or doing a compulsion. You're going to have to trade that for discomfort, but then it gives you the chance for long-term comfort and long-term peace and long-term robust recovery. But the reason why people stay stuck is because they are absolutely desperate to figure this one out and get control and get certainty, because this one feels real, this one feels different, this one feels like the exception. And then off you go down that rabbit hole to try and satisfy OCD's needs. It will never be pleased. It never delivers on the promise. It's like when you go to shake its hand, and then it pulls it away. last second, but it's got you. It's got you. You're in. You're too far in now. It's gone. And then down the rabbit hole you go. That's what it's like. We've all been down that rabbit hole, haven't we? The searching, the Googling, the confessing, the seeking reassurance, the replaying things in our head, the going round and round and round, doing anything, the avoidance, doing anything to get some kind of relief on something. And then you never get anywhere, to no success, to no avail. When I was in that state, I would come out of that with more questions than answers. I'd open up a can of worms and I'd be thinking, oh my God, why did I even try and work that out? You never get relief. And that was a real low place of mine. When I wasn't even getting relief from the compulsions, I knew I was banging trouble. I knew I was in serious trouble when the compulsions weren't even working. It's like a drug addict taking a drug and getting no high from it. You know you're in big trouble then. Okay, so we got to start making a change. Yes, we have to chip away at our rational beliefs. We have to look at why we need to satisfy these needs. How do we view not knowing? Why do we need certainty? Okay, how are we viewing not knowing this? What's the worst case scenario? How are we perceiving the worst case scenario? How are we catastrophizing the worst case scenario? How are you writing yourself off if X, Y, and Z were true? Okay, so it's tackling those, but the most important part is not falling for the trap each time. Every time the urgency is high, every time all the symptoms are intensified, you're going to be desperate to get some kind of solution, to get some kind of answer, to get some kind of certainty. It's a trap. Resist these compulsions like your life depends on it. Otherwise, you're looking at a lifetime of compulsions, and you don't have to live your life like that. Your life does not just have to be a lifetime of working out, trying to satisfy these needs. You're incredibly lucky to be living in an era where you can recover from obsessive compulsive disorder. Give yourself the best chance. Look to see what it's doing. Look in the mirror and think, why am I still stuck? What am I still doing? Yes, it takes time and patience and persistence. Of course it does. It can't be fixed overnight. But you've got to be honest at times and be accountable and think, well, why am I still stuck? Where am I going wrong here? Looking at your compulsions, looking at your poor habits, looking at all the procrastination, the laziness behaviors, looking at the crooked thinking, looking at the irrational beliefs, the rigidity that you're holding, the inner control that you're refusing to let go of. You've got to be accountable and see where you're going wrong at times, okay? Don't think you can suddenly just go. It can't just suddenly go like that. You don't just cut a compulsion and it's gone. It's a long-term journey. It takes a while, okay? And I always recommend coming in for coaching calls because we can guide you through that. We can point out things where you're going wrong. Because many times you might think, well, I don't know where I'm going wrong, Sam. And that's fine. That's okay. We've all been there. Because OCD can be very subtle. It can be very hidden. It can be very tucked away at times where, what the fuck am I even scared of? Why am I doing this compulsion? Why do I need certainty on this? And we can help break that down with you. Okay? But it's very, very important we're resisting compulsions under all conditions. Otherwise, we are giving OCD the keys to our life. OCD calls the shots, and OCD will therefore have the upper hand. Okay, it's very, very important that we cut compulsions. If you're interested in one-to-one services, please email phil@ocdrecovery.com. You can get in touch with me, Sam, Rob, the founder of OCD Recovery, Nick, Momin, Gemma, and Elliot. All do videos on this channel. So please email phil@ocdrecovery.com and we can get you booked in as soon as we possibly can to get your recovery journey rolling and get on the path of cutting those compulsions and stop trying to satisfy OCD's needs. It won't get anywhere and it will be a lifetime of trying to satisfy OCD's needs to no avail, to no success.